Welcome to Teaching Reading Strategies Training Module 5, Assessment-Based Small Group and Individualized Instruction. The purpose of this training module is to train you to give the diagnostic reading and spelling assessments and to familiarize you with the assessment-based small group and individualized instructional procedures with representative samples. Teaching Reading Strategies uses comprehensive whole-class assessments to help teachers diagnose specific strengths and weaknesses for each of their students. Assessments are quick to administer, 10 to 20 minutes per test, and quick to grade and record. Use Scantrons or GradeCam to correct if you wish. Only the PETS Fluency Assessment is administered one-on-one, at just 2 minutes per student. Teachers should administer and correct all diagnostic assessments within the first 2 weeks of instruction. Start with the 2 alphabetic awareness assessments, but thereafter no particular test order is required. Once the assessments have been corrected, the errors should be recorded on the Phonemic Awareness, Phonics, Sight Words, and Fluency Mastery Matrix, with a slash for each component not meeting mastery criteria of 80% for each component. The teacher should correct the diagnostic spelling assessment for each student and record the misspelled spelling patterns for each individual student on the Spelling Mastery Matrix. Once mastered, the teacher changes the slash into an X. The matrix should be posted in the classroom to permit teachers, parents, students, partners, and principals to monitor progress. Setting learning goals will support student buy-in and help motivate a consistent work ethic. Teachers will give the same assessments within the last 2 weeks of instruction as summative assessments to evaluate student progress and provide data for the next year's teachers. Total assessment time for all 13 assessments would be about 4.5 hours. Let's take a look at the test administration procedures for a few of the assessments and some samples of the small group and individualized instructional procedures to see how the built-in classroom management plan helps the teacher maintain an orderly, efficient, and productive learning environment. Administer the 2 alphabetic awareness assessments first, after the placement tests. Print the alphabet study cards found at the end of this book, or use the alphabet cards included in the reading and spelling flashcard sets for this assessment. Arrange the desks and tables so that students will not be able to see each other's cards. Pass out the cards and direct students to take out and shuffle the lowercase alphabet study cards. Say, let's see if you can put the letters of the alphabet into correct order on your desk or table, according to the lines of the new alphabet song. A few letters have different fonts. Place these below the letters they represent. Leave some space in between the lines. Monitor student progress during the assessment, paying attention to how students arrange the cards. Students who choose to arrange the cards differently than the left to right sequence may not have print awareness skills. Pay special attention to these students as they take the additional whole class assessments, because these tend to rely on left-right item order. Provide no more than 5 minutes for this whole class assessment. If individual students are not yet finished, they require additional instructional practice. Tell students to leave the cards in order on their desks or tables. Now pass out and direct students to shuffle the uppercase alphabet study cards for the 2nd alphabetic awareness assessment. Say, let's see if you can match the uppercase letters of the alphabet to their lowercase letter partners on your desk or table. Put these new uppercase letters right below the lowercase letters. Demonstrate placement by holding up the lowercase a above the uppercase A. Provide no more than 5 minutes for this whole class assessment. If individual students are not yet finished, they require additional instructional practice. For students with 1 or more errors, record letter sequence and letter matching errors according to how students will be remediated. Using the new alphabet song, line divisions, record which line divisions have letter sequence and letter matching errors with a slash in each box. Have students rubber band the cards and place them back in their reading and spelling flashcard boxes. To remediate alphabetic awareness, identify those students needing practice and have the students say or sing along to the new alphabet song during the Phonemic Awareness and Phonics Workshop small group instruction. Display the new alphabet song on the projector and number each row. Tell students which row numbers they are to match based upon their letter sequence deficits indicated on the Alphabetic Awareness Assessment. Include the font variation cards if in the group or groups. Students are to lay out their assigned rows just like that on the display. Include the font variation cards if in the groups below their matching letters. Another alphabetic awareness game is Match the Teacher. Display the new alphabet song on the projector and number each row. Tell students which row numbers they are to match based upon their letter sequence deficits indicated on the Alphabetic Awareness Assessment. Include the font variation cards if in the group or groups. Students are to lay out their assigned rows just like that on the display. Include those font variation cards if in the group or groups below their matching letters. Another alphabetic awareness game is Before and After. The teacher says a letter and individual students write or say the letter that comes before and after the letter. For example, the teacher says P, the students write O and Q. Phonemic awareness is the basic understanding that spoken words are made up of individual speech sounds. Many non-readers or severely challenged remedial readers lack phonemic awareness or the identification of speech sounds. Additionally, students with hearing difficulties or auditory processing disorders may have phonemic awareness deficits. Without a solid foundation in phonemic awareness, students will struggle learning how to read and write. Teaching Reading Strategies provides 5 phonemic awareness assessments to determine whether students know how to identify speech sounds. None of these assessments require students to read or have print awareness. One of the phonemic awareness assessments is the syllable rhyming assessment. The purpose of this assessment is to determine whether students can hear ending syllable rhymes. The words are not printed on the syllable rhyming assessment because this is a sound recognition phonemic awareness test. To remediate syllable rhyming, these sample activities are helpful. The first one is titled Odd Word Out. The teacher asks, which one doesn't rhyme? Students respond with a non-rhyming word. The teacher asks, know another rhyme? Individual students respond with real and nonsense word rhymes. A second fun syllable rhyming game is A Bean May Be Green. In this game, the teacher says, I'm going to say a little poem, but leave off the last word for you to rhyme. Let's try one. A bean may be green, but a hat is not fat. See how both bean and green sound the same? We call that rhyming. The words hat and fat are rhymes, too. Let's try some on your own. A bean may be green, but a... Select a word from the list below. Is not. Nonsense words are accepted, but real words are encouraged. Give only the first word in the pair. Rhymed words are provided to prompt students if necessary, or as a second round of the activity. The next assessment is the Vowel Sounds Phonics Assessment, as a representation of the phonics assessments in the Teaching Reading Strategies program. The purpose of the Vowel Sounds Phonics Assessment is to determine which vowel sounds students can and cannot accurately read. The Vowel Sounds Phonics Assessment is one of the 3 placement assessments for the program. This test uses nonsense words to help eliminate the variables of sight word prior knowledge. Nonsense words help students attend to the vowel sounds so that the teacher can accurately assess student decoding ability. To remediate vowel sounds phonics, here are a few samples from the 35 phonics workshops. These activities are from the R and L controlled Vowels Phonics workshop. Discuss how the same spellings of the vowel controllers can be pronounced differently, depending upon the influence of other letters and dialect. Examples: for you are bury, urgent, and pure. For AR, war, car, and care. Can you think of any more words in which the vowel controllers underlined below are spelled the same but pronounced differently? Another sample activity is to make up 2 rhymes for each of the following R-controlled vowel words. They don't have to be real words. The words can even have different spellings. One more sample activity is to find example words in a book to fit each R-controlled vowel spelling. Each of the phonics workshops has a formative assessment to determine mastery of that phonics skill. Set aside a quiet table or desk away from other students to assess each student individually. Run off enough teacher copies for each student and make one laminated student copy. Inform students of the testing order in advance so that each student will automatically come up to you without disrupting the class. The test should only take 20 to 30 seconds to give, and then 20 to 30 seconds to grade and review results with the students. Have the students read 10 words, which test the R and L controlled vowels. Mark errors with an X in the space provided, only if the specific phonics skill is mispronounced. In other words, don't mark it wrong if the student mispronounces part of the word that you are not assessing. In addition to the small group alphabetic awareness, phonemic awareness, and phonics instruction, Teaching Reading Strategies provides the resources for teachers to accurately assess individual spelling pattern mastery. Teaching Reading Strategies provides the resources for teachers to accurately assess and individualize spelling patterns instruction. Experienced teachers know that concurrent instruction in both decoding and encoding are necessary to help students become skillful readers and writers. Each of the spelling patterns on the Diagnostic Spelling Assessment has a corresponding spelling pattern worksheet for individualized instruction. Students complete a brief spelling sort, word jumble, rhyme, or book search, and then self-correct to learn from their errors. Lastly, the student completes a short formative assessment to see if the student has mastered the spelling pattern. The spelling pattern worksheets have been designed as independent and purposeful practice. These are the perfect activities to assign while working with small groups in alphabetic awareness, phonemic awareness, or phonics workshops. Your students will greatly benefit from the assessment-based instruction in the Teaching Reading Strategies program.